Tall Love. Chapter 6. Hi Mum, looks like I'll take a week off in a month or so, and will, hopefully, be able to finally come to visit you and Dad. Apparently, Bretta is also free at the time and, fingers crossed, she'll join me, if you're okay with this. She already knows a lot about you and can't wait to meet you both in person. Is that all right? Just one thought, though. I must warn you not to overreact the moment you see her. She doesn't necessarily look like your regular girl next door. She's very different in a way, but I'm sure you'll love her. And Dad will too. Okay Mum, I'll keep you posted. Take care, Rob. He licked the edge of the envelope and grinned. His father George, a retired army colonel, seemed to have always been attracted to taller women. Robin remembered, he was a child then, and Dad used to argue with Mum quite a lot, as she got jealous watching her husband's eyes follow every female 6-footer. She couldn't forget an incident that had happened before Rob was even born. His father, then a young and handsome lieutenant, already married, though, suddenly fell in love with a leggy barmaid from Bristol who stood 6 feet 2 or 3 inches tall. He even left his family for her, but came back pretty soon, begging for parole. When asked by Robin's mother why he dumped the whore twice his height, he said that she turned out to be as clever as timber, and her only interest was shopping. It took a long time for Mum, a petite 5'2" Sussex girl, to forgive her rebellious husband, who, by the way, was not much taller at about 5'4". Rob obviously inherited their less than impressive height, but he never thought that his father's fixation on tall women could also be transmitted genetically. His mum, however, wasn't so sure, and she warned him when he'd met Margie that, due to their difference in height, she might not be an ideal match for him. Robin only chuckled then, but mothers are never wrong, and his family life didn't last long. For whatever reasons. And after his trip to Italy, Rob started to suspect that his dad's nature had indeed overcome his initial indifference towards women's heights. He found himself enormously excited whenever he saw not just a tall woman, but a super extra tall woman, his woman, to be perfectly precise, especially in heels. Almost overnight, he suddenly found himself enjoying the odd sensation of smallness next to her, and the word diminutive didn't sound that bad any longer. For her birthday, he bought her a present, a black silk nightgown with matching stockings and a suspender belt. Not being able to find the size he needed on the high street, even at Long Tall Sally near Baker Street, he spent a little fortune having it custom-made, but the result was totally worth it. When, after a candlelight dinner in a French restaurant, they came to her flat, and she tried the gift on, he asked her to put on her highest heels as well. Well, you may be right, she said, staring at her reflection in a full-length mirror. My thighs are becoming a little too fat, so let's make them look slimmer. When she returned to the room, wearing her 8-inch high mules, Robin's mouth froze open. Never before had he seen anything more sexually tempting.
If you're enjoying the story, or even if you're not, please like or dislike it, share, and leave a comment. Positive or negative, they are all welcome. And do visit my page on Patreon, where you'll find new stories as well as the familiar ones. Patreon.com/Alex Steak. Thank you.
He stood up, came closer to her, embraced her thighs with both his hands, and craned his neck, looking up at her stomach, wrapped in black. As he did, his crotch pushed slightly against her knee, and his chin touched the sleek fabric covering her pubis. You're seducing me, he said. Me, she laughed happily. I'm not doing a thing. Later, when they rested on her double king-size bed, and he tenderly caressed her long body, he told her his father's story. Oddly enough, he added, looks like I'm in the same boat. I've noticed that already, responded Bretta without a smile. But that's strange, you see. I didn't give a damn about people's height before I met you. You told me that, she stroked his back. I wish I were a psychologist and knew why you've chosen me above thousands of others. Don't get me wrong, I love it, but can you explain why me, a woman who stands almost twice your height? I don't know either. I've just been liking you from that very first evening, remember? By the way, at the time I had no clue you were tall. And now, you're different. Not just stunningly beautiful, but clever as hell, and kind, and fun, and ironic. And yes, I also love to feel your height next to me, to look up at you. It's indescribable, I suppose. Consider it a perversion of a sort? Quite common perversion, she observed absently. What do you mean? Almost all men I know tend to melt down when they stand next to me. I'm not brazen enough to think all of them find me sexually attractive, so the only reason must be my height. Even the tallest guys I've seen never miss a chance to compare themselves with me and get excited when they lose. Who's the tallest guy you've met? Robin felt a prick of jealousy. Let me think. It's got to be an 18-year-old American. He stood a touch over 7 feet and played college basketball. It was back in Stockholm. I was 16 then, and had almost reached my current height, so he was a head or so shorter. He approached me at my classmate's birthday party and announced that I was a perfect match for him. I replied that I don't think so. This didn't upset him a bit, he just asked me to pose for a picture together, which I agreed to. I still have the photo somewhere, by the way. She got up and went to the chest of drawers. It was of a standard size, so she kneeled to reach the midsection. After a short search, she produced a wooden box and brought it to the bed, from which Robin was enjoying the sight of her awesomely shaped figure and the gracefulness of her moves. There were dozens of old pictures in the box, but she couldn't find the one. It doesn't matter, she finally gave up. I remember him being really big and absolutely stunned by the fact that his crown only reached up to my neck. In the picture, he gazes up at me with that stupid expression of unbelief. Quite funny, you know. Robin knew. He knew that his own face looked the same every time he observed Bretta's frame from the lowness of his own height. To be continued.
If you're enjoying the story, or even if you're not, please like or dislike it, share, and leave a comment. Positive or negative, they are all welcome. And do visit my page on Patreon, where you'll find new stories as well as the familiar ones. Patreon.com/AlexSteak. Thank you.